Hello, everyone. This is Dread from Miss Valley Entertainment News. Welcome to my coverage of the new-ish 30-minute deep dive gameplay trailer or 30-minute deep dive video about the game Avowed, featuring third-person gameplay and abilities. Let's jump right into this right now. All links will be down below in the description for you to check out for yourself. So this is from IGM by Michael Kripe. Give me some coffee. Hang on a second. I just had a nap. Because I'm old and it's hot and I'm tired. Okay. So as Mr. Kripe says, Avowed gets 30-minute deep dive revealing third-person gameplay and abilities. Tackle the world of Avowed however you please. Obsidian Entertainment has posted a 30-minute deep dive for its upcoming fantasy action RPG Avowed, revealing an extended look at its gameplay in both first and third person. This lengthy look at gameplay in the world of Aora comes directly from Xbox itself. It goes into some of the magical tools players will have at their disposal when embarking on their adventure later this year. Game director Kerry Patel touched on these details during the interview, but the feature that might have fans the most excited is the promise that you will have the option to play in both first and third person. Excellent, by the way. That's a really good thing. I wasn't even expecting that at this point, and that's great. It says here, Avowed has a third-person mode. Other details touched on in the presentation include a few colorful conversations with NPCs like Yatsli and Kai. Patel also teases some of the ways the environment will change as Avowed goes from day to night, as well as the ways different NPCs will react to your character's godlike status. So yes, your character is going to be one of the godlike. If you have not played the first two Pillars of Eternity games, a godlike character in Aora is someone who is a race that is literally touched by one of the gods. It usually marks them physically as well as other ways, giving them some kind of other abilities. Like other RPGs, Avowed has a selection of skills to allow players to choose how they approach encounters. And yes, you'll be able to respec your trees if you eventually decide you don't like the path you set yourself on. That's better than starting all over again in some cases. So we see one scenario that is handled two different ways, with combat and with stealth. Using combat to reach an important NPC could anger them, blocking the player off from certain dialogue options and potentially useful rewards. Trying stealth with the Shadowing Beyond ability, which essentially turns the player invisible, results in the same NPC allowing the player to leave with what they came for in peace. Those who try stealth in Avowed should note that enemies have a shout radius, meaning you might be able to get away with dispatching a single enemy if they're far enough away from their friends. Some of the enemies that players will be sneaking past or slashing through include tiny blue and orange mushroom creatures. These odd beings come in different groups, with some being able to attack from a distance while the others swarm with melee attacks. Avowed's deep dive presentation follows its appearance at the Xbox Games Showcase yesterday, where Obsidian showed off additional gameplay, story details, and more from its vibrant fantasy world. It was a showing for the first and third person project that came and went without revealing a release date. However, just hours after the event, Obsidian published and then changed a post announcing a release date of November 12, 2024. Date is now nowhere to be found, suggesting Obsidian wasn't quite ready to commit to that schedule just yet. Avowed is officially only set to release before the end of 2024. Be sure to read up on everything else shown during the Xbox Game Showcase while we wait for Obsidian's next RPG to launch on Xbox Game Pass, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Michael Kripe, freelance contributor with IGN. So let's get into the actual gameplay here. Let's do this. 27 minutes, 15 seconds. Let's go.
Ratings for games in this podcast are pending. Welcome back to the official Xbox podcast, the only podcast coming to you from inside Xbox. And all this week, we are diving deep into games you've seen at the Xbox Game Showcase. If you want to watch the other episodes, definitely check them out at youtube.com/Xbox, Spotify, or wherever you download your podcasts. And I have a very special guest co-host, I should say, with me today. The fans love her, the viewers love her. It's Tina Meany. Tina,
Hello.
how are you?
I'm doing great. So excited for this kickoff of a really incredible week that you are hosting for us.
You know,
so thank you.
I'm cracking my knuckles. I'm getting ready. This is going to be a tough one, but I'm so excited. Like
a fun one.
Exactly. To your point, though, like, this is going to be
that.
exciting. We just came off of the game showcase, and now, like, we're going to learn a little bit more about games, but we have a special guest with us today.
We do, an even more special guest, and one of my personal faves. It's Carrie Patel, game director on Avowed. Welcome back, Carrie.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
Oh, man, you have been to the studio several times now.
Yeah,
It is
exactly.
such a treat that you spend so much time out here with us. We had you on Extended Showcase last year. We did an interview. This was after, one of the very first forays into Avowed, so that was very exciting. And then we actually had you on this podcast with a slightly different visual design.
Yeah, the cheese set is gone.
The cheese couch is gone.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Jeff is very happy about that. We got some podcast mics now, which I'm very excited about. Yes. But yes, you were here to go deeper into some extended gameplay following Developer Direct, which was earlier this year. Incredible show, incredible viewing from the team, and it was so fun to get this deeper dive. So now we get to do that again, but following Showcase.
That's right.
Man, you are spoiling us in the audience.
That's right.
It's great to be here, and I'm definitely excited to show off what the team has been working on, and excited to take a deeper dive into story today.
Ooh, well, let's talk
Love
about that.
that.
So, as Tina mentioned, after the Developer Direct, we had you on the podcast, and I just got to make a call back. Like, that was received so well. Like, it was just great watching the comments and everyone like, this makes me want to play the game. And so, kudos to you and the team. I'm curious from your perspective and the team's perspective. Since then, what's been going on? Like, I'm sure as you get closer to the release date, like, a lot of things are coming into play. So, tell us a bit about that time.
Yeah, it's a really exciting part of the development process because you've got so much that's so far along, your content, your gameplay, your systems, and you're really just, investing those final touches, that final layer of polish, like pushing everything to be as good as it possibly can, trying to make smart decisions, not crazy ones.
Amazing looking
but
game.
yeah, it was great to see the reception after Developer Direct. One of the things that I know folks called out that we spent a lot of additional time on was refining that sense of hitting, which we're going to see some of in our footage today. So yeah, it's really just...
So for all of you who said the hits didn't land properly and therefore the combat sucked, as they said back then, hey, this is a work in progress and it's not a finished product. We're still working on this. They have worked on it. So the haters are going to have to find something else to hate about.
Taking everything that's almost there and pushing it over the finish line and really getting to turn this into the game that we all on the team want to play as well.
Yeah, and I just want to build off of that a little bit because we were talking about you before you all came. We were talking behind your back, but in a good
Only
way.
good things.
But like, I feel like, to your point, Obsidian has this je ne sais quoi, this, to use my little French that I know very little of.
It was that one statement. That was it.
Yeah, that's literally all I know. But no, it's like this something special that you all have where not only do you have the community aspect who love games, Grounded, Pentiment, all these great games, but also just the team, like the cohesiveness. I got to visit the studio a little bit late last year, and just walking through the office, it was very evident why your games always come together and are just so great. It's just because you have that cohesive unit. So it's great that time that you spent since then has been used just like polishing the game, like you said, and making it awesome. So I'm excited to play a little bit later.
Oh, yeah, me too. But before we jump into the deeper dive gameplay, do you want to just set up for us both what Avowed is, just in case anyone out there doesn't know, but also what we just saw at the Xbox Game Showcase with the new trailer?
Sure. So Avowed is an upcoming fantasy action RPG. For players who are familiar with the Pillars of Eternity games, this takes place in the same universe, but it is not a sequel. The style of gameplay is obviously very different. The cast of characters is mostly different, but we'll get to that. But yeah, it's basically just bringing our players to the world of Aora with a really immersive, action-forward, really fun, fresh take on the Pillars world.
And if you're into fantasy RPGs and you've never played the Pillars of Eternity games, I would tell you especially to check out the first game. The combat is really, there's uniqueness to the combat and the way it works in party combat that is really cool. They've made a really a really unique world there, and it's very fascinating because in those games it's a very dark world. It's a very heavily oppressive world, which Avowed seems to be lifting the spirits of a little bit. But anyways, same world, different kind of game. Though these are Pillars of Eternity fantasy RPG top-down ones. I did enjoy the second one nearly as much. In fact, I didn't even finish it, but I really, really enjoyed the first one. So check those out if you're a fan of those type of games.
And from the trailer we just saw now, we've met a few of our key characters. So part of what we wanted to do with this trailer is really set up for the player the world you're stepping into and the role you're stepping into, and also the choice that's in front of you for how you want to inhabit and live out that role in the game. Cool. So the very first voice that we hear from at the beginning of the trailer is the Emperor of Adir, your boss, essentially. Mm-hmm. He's sending you to the Living Lands to get to the bottom of this soul plague called the Dream Scourge, find out what's causing it, and find a way to stop it. The next person we hear from is Inquisitor Ludwine, who I'm very excited to have playing such a big part in Avowed. Players from Deadfire might remember her as a side character in one of our very interesting side quests, but in Avowed, she's pretty central. And her whole belief is that the Dream Scourge is really just symptomatic of larger problems, a larger sense of chaos and disunity and destructiveness at the heart of the Living Lands. And in the world of Pillars of Eternity, souls and essence, which is the stuff of souls, it manifests physically. And so she might be onto something. And then the very last person we hear from is Giada, who's one of the companions that we'll meet in our journey. And she's taking a different perspective. She's saying this chaos is part of who we are. It's part of what makes the Living Lands special. Don't try to tame it. Don't try to end it. Embrace it and cherish it and kind of nurture and tend to it. So again, what that really sets up for the player is this is a big world. It's got adventure and danger, and it's also got a lot of choices to make. And it's going to be up to you to decide, what it means to be the envoy of Adir in the Living Lands and what it means to set things right in this place.
Yeah, so to your point, that kind of like Obsidian.
I wonder then if you could play this game 3 different times and play it strictly one of those ways. Follow the Emperor, follow this person, follow that person. What these 3 people are saying at the beginning are like 3 completely different play styles or character styles to base your character on, or how you're going to tackle the problem you've been sent into. That's kind of fascinating, actually, if you want to look at it from a gameplay and a characterization and a story viewpoint, that you could potentially play 3 different ways for this game. And I wonder if there's always choices that affect those 3 ways, or choices that are clearly one of those ways in your choices that you get during quests and conversations and whatnot.
And formula
100%.
That player choice and some of that moral intrigue too, like what decisions are you going to make in a moment by moment.
Yeah, and I think that's what players, as you said, like that's what players really want. Like they want to feel like they have some agency. They are going to be able to interpret the story that you all build and kind of act on that. And so, but let's get into the gameplay, because just like a little bit after Developer Direct, you've brought some new gameplay for us to watch. And so let's check some of this out. Tell us a bit about what we're seeing here.
So we're going to start out in Emerald Stair, which is one of the regions you'll get to explore over the course of the game. We're not too far along, but we have here a lovely nighttime scene. I think this region in particular looks fantastic at night.
Very stunning.
Yeah, thank you. And here we have some Sporlings attacking Yatsley, who is going to be one of our other companions.
And you were charging up like your bow and arrow there, and then you're also kind of trying to slice your way through what looks like some very thick top-heavy swirling armor here.
And you're right, we are struggling a little bit.
Yeah, they're giving you a run for your money here.
Yeah. We'll fix that. So part of the problem is we've just transitioned out of an earlier region, and so we haven't upgraded our gear yet. So if we look like we're struggling against these little mushroom guys, it's because we haven't upgraded our weapons so that they're really up to par with the enemies we're going to face here. So there's a lot of hacking and whacking, but we'll fix that in short order.
Oh, fantastic. People, I was about to lose my wits. You wouldn't happen to have a ladder on hand, would you?
So this is still fairly early into the game, too, the setting of Emerald Stair.
Yeah.
Nice. And then we have Yatsley,
Yeah, she's a wizard. She's very fun. She's a little risque in a way that I think is makes her a lot of fun to talk to. She's got some very good banters with the other companions. But yeah, she's just a little lightning ball of a lot of personality.
And you see the options here, by the way. Also, one of the great things about your game is, of course, dialogue options. Tell us a little bit about how that's playing here.
So you noticed with a couple of those that we had a little symbol at the front of those options. So as this is an Obsidian game, some of the options available to you are dictated by choices you make at character creation, choices you make as you level up your character. So some of them are tied to specific attributes. Some of them are tied to specific backgrounds that you choose at the beginning of the game. And a lot of those will really, in different cases, either add some different flavor, personality, or possibly a different outcome to that conversation.
I love conversation choices that kind of build your own personality for your character and then go forward. That's awesome. That to me is very exciting as somebody who likes the R in the RPG, like the role play aspect of this, right?
Here we're really getting to know her as a character, and so we're just kind of choosing the tonal direction of this conversation.
Yeah,
she's a little
She says you're tall, striking, and well toned.
It is like she's flirting with us.
She is.
What would happen if we pass the conversation check for the flirtation option, which I assume is this first one?
Yeah. Well, you'll have to see in a bit, but yeah, if you flirt with Yahtzee, she will flirt back.
She seems like a flirtatious type.
If you keep encouraging her, she's going to climb you.
Careful, darling. I already have a lover. A good one. Skilled with his hands. He always carries a ladder.
She rebuked me.
Oh, no. Well, you know what? Maybe keep trying. But
Dialogue
no.
check.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, like visually speaking, like I think this is the first time you all are also showing like gameplay at night, right?
Yeah, so we do have a dynamic time of day, and
okay.
our
I didn't think I knew
environments.
that. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, have some very lovely looks at different times of day. We've definitely shown a lot of daytime footage. We've shown some golden hour footage, but again, Emerald Stair looks really stunning at night.
Yeah.
It's very colorful, very lush. We've got all the fungi, and then one thing we're going to see as we come over the hill here is all of this equipment that the animancers of the town of Fior have made. And so, animancy in the world of Pillars of Eternity is basically soul science. It's about studying and manipulating the essence that makes up souls and the essence that is ambient in the ether.
Quite controversial in the world.
That is definitely left over or a part of the Land of Aora from the Pillars of Eternity games, which is really cool for those of us who know that. That was a big part of Pillars of Eternity, especially, well, both the first two games, for honest, yeah.
Yes, it is.
By the way, here's hoping that Obsidian goes back to Pillars of Eternity and makes another top-down RPG in that land, in that game again. I mean, I like Avowed and what they're doing with it, and that's still in the same land, but I'd still like to see another top-down RPG with a big step up. I mean, I don't mean like step up like Baldur's Gate 3 did, but a significant step up from what they had done already. But still the same type of top-down RPG game. That would be awesome. Anyways, back to this.
Which is something we get into in this region. But yeah, so this is a little enclave of animancers who are kind of free to study, outside of the the watchful eye of any larger authority here in the Living Lands.
Very cool looking place.
Yeah, what it means aesthetically is they have this really lovely equipment with this wonderful purple glow that just looks great at this time of evening.
Yeah, 100%.
And so they are also impacted by the Dream Scourge as well.
They are, yes.
Mm-hmm.
They've discovered something wrong in the ether, and you're coming here to sort of see what the animancers have figured out.
All right, and now I'm looking at this. It looks like we're heading into the party camp. Can you tell us a little bit about what this area is and its significance for the player?
Yeah, so party camp is one of my favorite spaces in the game. It's both your narrative hub and also your upgrade hub. We can see here, I'll just call out.
Third person, yeah.
Yes, we do have third.
Okay, wait. Okay, at this point, it's just suddenly hit me. I need to play this game. I see this and I see you get a party hub, and I'm like, oh my god, I need to play this game. I'm drawn back to the great way Dragon Age games did the party hub, Baldur's Gate 3s. I mean, there's so many great games that have that camp that you go to at night where you get into conversations and expand your character and learn more about the other characters. And oh my word, I'm getting a little verklempt here. I need to play this game. I need to play it. I'm getting quite excited for this. This is great. First time I've seen this mentioned. This is wonderful.
I'm looking at this. It looks like we're heading into the party camp. Can you tell us a little bit about what this area is and its significance for the player?
Yeah, so party camp is one of my favorite spaces in the game. It's both your narrative hub and also your upgrade hub. We can see here, I'll just call
out. Third person, yeah.
Yes, we do have third person. A lot of the footage we're going to see today is in first person, but we do have a third person option for players who prefer it. But yeah, in party camp, that's where you'll get to know your companions better. You can kind of get to know their backstories and sort of, get to know them better as individuals. You can also hear them getting to know one another through their banters at camp, which is always super fun to eavesdrop on. And it's also where we can upgrade our gear. So we've got our party stash where we can stow a lot of extra equipment. Nice. We've got our upgrade screens. And here's where we're taking some of our older gear that we picked up in the previous region, and we're going to upgrade it so that we're better equipped to fight the
upgrades are done
here.
at camp.
Yeah, sporlings.
Yeah,
exactly.
We're coming back.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be way better. But I want to touch back on what you said around the banter around with your companions. I've always found that, like, in those kind of camp areas in games just in general, like, that's where I love.
Yeah.
And I love that you all are including banter between the other companions, because that makes it feel more alive. Like, you're just listening to the banter. But is there conflict between some of the companions?
They have different
dynamics.
takes on the Dream Scourge and like what you should do with it.
Exactly. So what can we expect to hear when we're listening, eavesdropping in on the banter?
So you'll hear a lot of different things. One thing we really wanted to create with Party Camp was this sense that, you're adventuring and exploring together through this big wilderness, all of these different landscapes. And Party Camp is this quiet space where you can all kind of huddle together, share a moment of respite. And, the pace and the tone of everything is a lot slower and quieter. So some of the banter is going to be kind of quirky and fun as these characters get to know each other and kind of dig into their different personalities, their different eccentricities. Some of it's going to be a little more somber as they, kind of reflect on different events that y'all have seen, different things y'all have gone through together. And then, yes, as you get to harder decisions in the game, there are going to be moments of conflict where they disagree on what the right course forward is, or they disagree on maybe actions that you've taken up to this point, and they're kind of hashing it out with one another.
I like it.
So it's really just where these characters get to come to life a lot more.
So you're going to be judged the whole time.
Good. No, because I'm a controversial king. We're going to be picking some controversial decisions, so I love to see that.
I love that kind of banter too, because I know in my heart the decisions I want to make, but absolutely the more connected I get to certain companions or characters, they can totally influence by their judgment, their cool judgment. Yeah, so I'll sometimes, start to actually take that into account. I love the party camp moments, sitting by a campfire, and certainly getting stronger.
Yeah.
Which my understanding is we're picking up some, not just upgrading some of our weapons, but also picking up some new skills, which you can do in this party camp kind of downtime too.
Yeah, so you can upgrade your skills and abilities anywhere as you level up throughout the course of the game. That's one of the things we're doing right now. So on certain level up milestones, we'll get to upgrade our attributes, which we just did. And on every level up milestone, we'll get to pick a new ability. So in this playthrough, it seems like we've got a couple points sitting in reserve. So we're spending these on different abilities in our different trees. And one of the really
Now, one of those abilities is something that procs automatically, or their abilities like you have to kind of cast the ability or choose to use the ability at certain times, or a combination of the two. I don't mind either, but I don't like when you have 25 abilities late game and you've only got spots for, like, it's numbers 1 through 4 only, so pick 4 abilities you want to use out of your 25 that you know. I don't like that. So hopefully that's not a thing. I much prefer in that case, if you're going to get that many kind of abilities, that it's stuff that just goes automatically. It automatically happens. I have no idea which it is. So saying.
Fun things about the way these are set up is you can really mix and match freely between them. So if you want to be all wizard, you can, build entirely throughout that skill tree. If you want to mix and match, make a battle mage, or make, someone who can be a little stealthy in certain moments and a little more aggressive in others, you have a lot of freedom to do that.
Sounds like me. I like that one. I'll take that one.
Yeah.
So we've seen a lot of Tanglefoot in previous trailers, and I think we just unlocked Fan of Flames, which will help us get through these brambles, right? So we're not only stronger, but now we can actually progress in the environment in Emerald Stair with a little bit more skills at our hands.
Yeah, we wanted to try to, as much as possible, give the different abilities that players can pick up. Obviously solutions in combat, but also solutions in exploration. And so, there's almost always more than one way through a particular barrier, but you'll have, weapons, your own abilities, spells, weapon enchantments, sometimes even your companions who can, use their environmental abilities to help you get through barriers like that as you build the character you want to play.
Okay, so
sounds very cool. Liking it so far. By the way, if you're watching this and you have watched up to this point, thank you so much. First of all, you are I'm a big fan of yours. If you've watched all 25 minutes or so far. Second of all, you're clearly a fan of Avowed or becoming one. So thank you all so much. I'm very, very hopeful for this game, but honestly, I won't know what it is until it comes out. Nor am I going to know what price point it's at either. So I can't recommend or not recommend this game. All I can tell you is my opinions of it. And if you stick this out till the end, because we've got another 13 minutes of video to watch here or so, you stick this out to the end. Kudos on you. Drop down below and let me know you stuck it out to the end and you enjoyed it. Thank you all so much. Appreciate you watching this, by the way. I really do.
Now that we're coming out of the camp, we've upgraded our equipment. We've upgraded our swords. So theoretically, these guys should be easier now.
Yes, and you'll notice it's taking fewer hits to bring them down. Yep, they go flying.
Look at him. He barely stood a chance.
Yes, we've got some nice blood effects as we're slicing through them.
Yeah, so is that like new animation as well? New sound effects and animation as you're kind of upgrading your swords and other items?
Yeah, we want to make sure that players are getting clear feedback as to when their gear is effective and when maybe they need to go back to camp. So it looks, it feels, it sounds different when you're playing with appropriately leveled gear.
And this guy's a little different looking.
Yeah.
What's his deal?
Little spikes.
So this is a caster. So, all of our enemy families will have different unit types among them. And we've seen a lot of these little melee spoilings who just run at us. And it's very cute, actually. It's one of our favorite little animations on the team. But you also have these caster units that can obviously attack you from a distance, do quite a bit more damage. And we have a few other unit types who we haven't met yet, but we're going to try to take this guy out because he's a little more dangerous than the small guys.
Yeah, taking a few more hits than them.
So when you build up enough stun on an enemy, you can kind of queue up an attack like that does a lot of extra damage and will also, if it doesn't take them out outright, it'll at least give you some distance from them. So those are great to get if you can.
Nice, and a little bit more traversal here, which I love to see. Adds that verticality that we love, that allows players to, I guess, discover new things in the game and maybe some hidden things.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a very fun mechanic to be able to build content around because, like you said, you can really reward your curious players by hiding a lot of secrets, a lot of fun, a lot of storytelling and nooks and crannies throughout the levels.
And we did just pick up that godless base, so we've got our item that Yatsley's been asking us for.
Yes.
Okay, around
so
this
can you
world
remind us too, as
so
we're looks like we're approaching her now, actually. So what we're kind of exchanging here.
Yeah, so Yatsley is a scholar of the godless, and the godless are the ancient people who used to inhabit the living lands. They have been gone for many, 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 many years, but we see their ruins throughout the different regions of the living lands. So Yatsley studies them. They are called the godless because they are not recognized as worshipping in their art any of the gods of Aora that people know of. So she wanted this artifact as, part of her studies. So even without a ladder, we were able to fetch it for her.
Oh, and we just saw a quick flash of ourselves, actually. And we are, actually, if you could explain too, because we are godlike.
Yes.
We are almost the opposite of Yatsley in that way.
Yes.
So what does that mean in the world of like the universe in general and why we look the way that we look here?
Sure.
Yeah.
So in the world of Pillars of Eternity, a godlike is a member of any Kith species whose soul has been touched in some way by one of the gods. You can play as a godlike in Pillars 1 or Deadfire. In Avowed, you are definitely a godlike. And being a godlike will manifest in a number of different ways, but one of them is you usually have a unique physical appearance that manifests in some way on your face and or head. Now with Avowed, you can choose exactly what that manifestation looks like. Cool. This lichen-like growth is one of your options, but you will have some that are a lot bigger and more dramatic, and you'll also have some that are a lot subtler. But either way, you have a connection to one of the gods. The thing that's unique about you is you don't know which one. one. And most godlikes of Aora, it's very well known, which god they share a lineage with. For you, it is a mystery, and that's one of the things you'll get to explore in your journey through Avowed.
Yeah, and I love the customization because I think just generally speaking, people love to customize.
Yeah.
I really like Carrie Patel. I mean, I don't know much about her. I didn't know anything about her before, we started looking into Avowed, but I really like the way she portrays things, just the way she easily chats. She feels like she's sitting in your home just talking to you about a project that she's excited about and she's excited about sharing. She's not for instance, Todd Howard, who always sounds like he's pitching and he's trying to sell you on something. And you find out later he was usually lying about. But she has a very easy way about her, so that's cool. I missed a little bit what they're talking about.
But either way, you have a connection to one of the gods. The thing that's unique about you is you don't know which one. And most godlikes of Aora,
that's fascinating.
It's very well known, which god they share a lineage with. For you, it is a mystery, and that's one of the things you'll get to explore in your journey through Avowed.
Yeah, and I love the customization because I think just generally speaking, people love to customize the character they want. So maybe, again, like you go a little bit more obvious here, or maybe you go a little subtle. Are we going to see like players or not players, but like other people in the world like reacting to sort of your godlike appearance?
You will, because it is very unique, and there aren't many godlikes left in the world of Aora. So you're doubly unique in this case.
Oh, nice. I'm going to be showing it up and be like, yeah I'm a godlike. All right. So treat me as such.
Well, so some people think that's very cool. Some people think it's very spooky. So, different cultures and individuals have different ways of relating to godlike. So you might get you'll get a number of reactions.
And that's the thing, is that godlikes are quite rare. So they are kind of intrigued by it when they see you and they recognize that you are different.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. Now Yatsley is sending us somewhere else, right?
So we've gotten her vase. She's going to return to her studies. She will join our party at some point, but not right away.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is a quest that takes place along the Crit Path and Emerald Stair. So you can tell we're still in the same overall region. So we're working with one of the animancers in the town of Fior, and he's going to help us He's going to try to help us diagnose what's going on with the living lands. But in order to do that, he needs the heart of an Adragon. And an Adragon is essentially a nymph with sort of the skin and appearance of Adra, and he needs the heart for the essence that it contains. So he's sent us into this glade to go retrieve this heart. This glade is inhabited by a bunch of Delamgon, who, as you can see, are a lot more dangerous and a lot more aggressive than the Spoilings we encountered. Delamgon in the World of Pillars are fairly territorial, so we're kind of bringing this on ourselves. He did warn us that they wouldn't take kindly to us just marching through their territory, and we might have an easier time of it if we can avoid conflict, but conflict's also fun, so in this case, we're just, swinging our sword and going on in.
And you're right about them being a little bit harder to take down. We are definitely having to utilize everything in our arsenal here to take them down.
Yes. And you're seeing a few different unit types here. We've also got casters. These have some very long kind of whippy arms that they can get us at a medium distance with, and a little area of effect attack. But they do eventually go down. But like you said, it takes more work.
Yeah. Now we're approaching what I'm assuming is a very special character. Can you tell us a little bit about?
Yeah, so this is the Delamgon Queen. She has the Adragon heart, and I'm sure she'll be super cool with how we just mowed through her followers. What could go wrong?
We had to do what we had to do, right?
Yeah,
but
hopefully she's queen of no one now.
That's right. We'll take everyone out, right? Oh, let's see what she says.
But wait, no.
Yep, she can sense what we've done, and she's not happy about it.
So many of my kin are dead by your hand. The time for words has passed.
It's a good thing we like fighting, because we're going to fight some more now.
Yeah.
Yep. Hello.
The backup forces have arrived, and now we're in trouble. But we're going to leave that a little mystery, right? I'm assuming.
Yes.
I don't want to give everything away. So what are we looking at here? This is us kind of respecing kind of how our character plays, right?
Yes. So if you find that you want to try out a new suite of abilities, if you want to approach a particular piece of content like this one in a different way, you can respec. And you might have seen popping up at the beginning of the screen here, there is a cost to doing so, but if you're willing to pay it, you can try out a whole new set of abilities. So what we're doing now is we're speccing into a lot of ranger related abilities, and I think a couple wizard ones as well. So the most most important one of these is Shadowing Beyond, which is a
Ranger
level
wizard
5
build.
ranger ability. And what that does is it gives us the ability to essentially kind of open up a rift in the here, which is the physical world, and travel through the beyond, which is kind of the invisible spiritual world, in order to move through the environment. So what this means is that as long as we don't engage them, these characters can't see us. And as long as we keep our essence meter up, this ability will remain active. So this one is constantly draining our
Essence meter.
essence, which is the soul energy that we use to power our special abilities and our spells. You can see we're passing some cover grass as well, so if we wanted to be a little more conservative with our power usage, we could duck into that grass, kind of watch the patrols, and avoid using this ability quite as much. But in this case, we're going to use it to get to this little safe nook right here.
So if you're an expert stealther, you could possibly do this section in stealth without that ability.
Just
If
with
you're
the
good,
grass,
Just
just
to
sneak it
cover up the
around.
grass.
Challenge
yeah.
accepted, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and here we're re-upping on our potions so that
Yeah,
we can
health
build up
and
that
essence.
essence.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, we're going to continue. And we've also found a little side route here. So again, we like to offer different ways for players to approach
Nice.
our content, especially big potential fights like the one kind of in the glade.
So, look at your situation, think about how you want to do it, maybe pop a save down, and try what you've got planned. If that doesn't work, maybe reload and try something else. Interesting. I like it.
Here. So this is a little side path that you can see still has some enemies in it, but for a player who's very careful and either willing to use that cover grass or willing and able to use Shadowing Beyond, they can get through without causing a ruckus.
So if you fight this sporling, will the others be alerted to it, or could you get away with like one kill and then?
It depends how close they are. So they do have a shout radius, but it is not infinite. So if there isn't anyone close by, and if you're pretty fast, you might be able to get away.
Yeah,
but
like
you can
that.
see
Oh,
there's
yeah.
one right
Yeah.
there. So
You never know who's hiding in a little nook.
Right?
Exactly.
I'll kick that one off the cliff. Probably. It's like, get out of here. But I'm excited to see players how they tackle it, because I'm sure there are going to be people who decide not to use the essence at all and like really like want to show their mastery of that stealth aspect. And so here we are heading.
It's always a trade-off, right?
It
You
is.
know, do you want to loot all the dead bodies, or
Right.
do you want to take the
a good
peaceful
point.
path and possibly open up some other dialogue options, which tends to be how I play.
A welcome visitor.
How different.
It has been so long since one of your kind has walked in this grove.
in this case, the Dalamgon Queen has recognized that we haven't killed all of her followers.
That
and
voice
so
is familiar,
there's a
too.
little more of an opportunity to talk with her. She recognizes that we are godlike. She might even recognize what kind of godlike we are. But yeah, in this case, she will give us the heart willingly, and she'll allow us to leave the glade peacefully, because we chose.
And she's quite an ancient being, so there's a lot that she knows. You mentioned that, she might even know where we come from.
She might, yeah. Of course, the thing is, Dalamgon they're like you said, they're very ancient. They're not really part of Kith society, so it's hard to get too many straight answers out of them sometimes.
There's some vagaries in there, but enough
Yeah.
to kind of pique our interest.
But then she gave you the heart and she said, take it and go in peace.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
there you go.
Very,
We
very
came
cool.
in peace and we left in peace.
Boom.
Look at that.
Peace. Rules. Sometimes.
Well, I think that's all the gameplay that you and the team brought out here today. Thank you again so much. It's been so insightful and such a fun opportunity to walk through it all step by step with you.
Yeah, I mean, like we talked about it a little bit after the developer direct, but like the trailers that you all make are always so great. But then getting to like talk to you and see what the team has built and deliver especially for the Xbox podcast is always great to see, and dive deeper into those details, dialogue options, how you tackle a game. Like all those things are so important for us to see, like how we're going to be playing the game
Yeah,
when it releases.
so much detail and intricacies. But
Yeah.
is there anything else that you want to leave the audience off with before we sign off on this episode?
Well, really excited for players to experience this game for themselves. Again, the team's been working really hard to just
When's the release
really put
date?
the rest of the experience
Come on.
together, get it all polished, get it across the finish line, and we're all really stoked to see how players fill that player-shaped hole at the middle of our game, and what kind of role they choose for their envoy, and how they choose to solve the conundrums in the Living Lands.
Us too.
I know. Cannot wait. Carrie, thank you so much for stopping by.
All right, everybody. So that is my look here at Miss Valley Entertainment News at the 30-minute deep dive, 27 minutes, 15 seconds, whatever, into Avowed. Its gameplay, its relationships, it's everything. It's first and third person combat, how combat works, how upgrades work, how respecking works. I'll look at the dialogues, look at your choices, your ways of going about certain missions, and the beauty of at least this one area of the living lands that we get to play in. So, Avowed. Should you buy it? Should you not? I can't answer that question for you. I've been a big pumper of this game coming up, but I've been very excited for this game, only having knowledge of Obsidian's past work and past games in this land that have been very, very, very different. Again, they were top-down RPGs. This is completely different than this game. But now I feel like, especially now after having watched this video, this is the first time I've seen this video as well, as I went through it with you. I'm more excited for the game because I'm getting a better feel for how it plays. So, again, should you or should you not buy it? I can't answer the question for you. I'm telling you, I'm more excited for this game than ever. I still don't know when it comes out. And I still don't know how much it's going to be, what the cost is going to be. And honestly, I still don't know how is it actually going to feel when it's in your hands and you're playing it, whether it be on Xbox, on Game Pass, on Steam, PC, whatever. I can't answer those questions yet. But I'm trying to give you the information you as a consumer should have before you make the decision on whether to purchase this game or not. But I hope it's as good or better even, but at least as good as it seems to me to be. And I'm hoping it does well because I really want to root for Obsidian and what they do. They're just one of those companies I want to root for. However, I'll be fair. If this game is garbage, then it's garbage, right? Well, that's the test, man. That's the end test when you buy it and you play it and you know for yourself, was it good, was it not? So I hope you enjoyed this. I want to thank you for sticking with me. It's been 41 and a half minutes now. It's time for me to get out of here. My name is Dread. This is Miss Valley Entertainment News. See you on the funny pages. Bye-bye.